my darn theme music.
He is wide open. He is wide open. He's wide open, dog. He gone. He wide open, bro. He is wide open. He is wide open. He's wide open, dog. He gone. What's going on, everybody? Good evening. Welcome in. Welcome in. Thank you for joining me. I am your host, AP. This is Timeouts and Tangents, and I cannot thank you guys enough for being here. What was that we just witnessed? That was a young 15-year-old Easton Royal. Yeah, 15 years old. The voice in the background, if you don't recognize saying he's wide open, is mine. Why is that my voice? Because I was recording the game. So my son played at it in the car. I would record all of the defensive snaps for the games. My son and I would break that film down because we are film junkies. Let people say I don't know football. I don't care. I don't care. Let them say it. I know ball. I know what I know. Pre-snap read. I'm going to bring this back up on the screen one more time so we can see this. He wide open. I'm going to mute it because I want to talk over this. Brother Martin runs a very simple offense. It's like Coach Herman Boone for Remember the Titans. 6 plays, split veers, like Novocaine. Give it time, it works. It always works. They are a run-first type of team. RPO heavy. They'll give you some counters, some traps, a little play action, but most of the time they don't have athletes like number 3 here who's lined up in the slot. Look at the read. The pre-snap read is telling you throw him the ball and just let him do what he's going to do. This corner, this safety who is a junior, his name is Aiden Hall. He is now a safety at your LSU Fighting Tigers in Baton Rouge. Also, if you saw the thumbnail, that was Aiden Hall again from this past season. Yes, Aiden Hall got gotten by Easton Royal twice, 2 years in a row. This read, this corner is 12 yards off the line of scrimmage. This read dictates he's hot. Throw him the ball. The corner does not move off the motion. The safety doesn't move off the motion. He instantly, the quarterback knows I'm throwing this to him. This ball is poorly thrown. It's thrown behind Easton. Easton has to turn back around, stop his momentum, gather himself and the ball, literally from zero. This corner makes a bad read instead of flooding underneath to pop him back inside and give Aiden a chance to come over the top to make the play. He peeks over here. Easton sees that peek, immediately turns it upfield, and you see what a 10-1, 100-meter yard dash looks like. Easton Royal is the best athlete in this class. What's up, Alex? Thank you for being here tonight. Got a special announcement coming up real shortly. Easton Royal is the best athlete in this class, and it's not even close. He different. Easton Royal is, like Pearsley says, he fast. And anytime you use fast twice, that means you fast. Like, you fast. You real fast. A 10-1, 100-meter yard dash time equivalates to a sub 4440. He's 17 years old. He's not even at the peak of his powers. Not only that, he's one of the biggest wide receivers in the class as far as size. He's got a neck like a mini DK Metcalf. He's special. He fast and quick fast. You saw the start stop speed right out the gate. The ability to adjust to a poorly thrown ball, catch it with his hands, not with his body, adjust to the defense on the fly, and go from 0 to 100 real quick. That is special. That is why Easton Royal needs to stay home. Easton Royal is a type of receiver who can change your program. He's a guy who will come in and play as a freshman. You need to do whatever you can to keep him here. What's up, Unc? Thank you for being here tonight. Babin, thank you for being here, my guy. Definitely appreciate you. And Alex definitely is up in here saying hello to the chat. Thank you guys all for being here. We got to start on time tonight, and I'm absolutely excited. I know y'all are all loving this hoodie that I'm in right now that I have on, and I am rocking proudly SEC 316. My girl Alex in the chat. This is her brand, her mission, and I'm proud to announce that she's the first official sponsor of Timeouts and Tangents. And I am proud to be a brand ambassador for SEC 316. What is SEC 316? Serving everyone through Christ. It is a mission that God laid on the heart of Alex to serve the youth and young adults across college campuses. Alex has a vision that God gave her that when she moves back to Louisiana, she will start a youth group on LSU's campus. So please support Alex. I'll have some more information in the coming days. We'll have some discount codes. All the funds and proceeds that are received at SEC 316 will be donated to other missions in local areas. So please reach out and support. I'll have those links and everything tagged at the end of the YouTube video once we are done with the stream tonight. Got some other brands that are coming along on board as well. So definitely proud to announce those partnerships and those deals that we have in the works. Easton Royal. How different is Easton Royal? Well, let me tell you Easton Royal's stats from his junior year. My guy caught 53 passes for 1,151 yards and 17 touchdowns. They only played 11 games. And remember what I said, Brother Martin is a run-heavy team. 53 receptions for 1,151 yards and 17 touchdowns through 11 games. Thank you, Babin. I appreciate that. Hey, TD, look at my TD, y'all. Don't y'all be flirting on my TD. It's my TD right there. She in the chat. I see you, TD. Thank you for being here over on Facebook. My TD got a Facebook account, y'all, and she is in the social media age. 53 receptions, 1,151 yards, and 17 touchdowns over the course of 11 games. I want y'all to understand the math on that. First of all, that's 21 yards a catch, right? That's 104 yards per game. 21 yards per catch. You just saw him take a 7-yard stop route, 50 plus yards to the house. And he was only 15 when he did that. What are we talking about? He's 15, 16 years old against one of the best defenses in high school football. That was a defense that featured Richard Anderson, Corey Adams, Hayward Howard Jr., Aiden Hall, and Maurice Williams. All those players I named are currently playing, with the exception of the late Corey Adams, are playing Power 4, not just D1, Power 4 football. Aiden and Rich being at LSU. Corey was at Ole Miss. Mo Williams is at Colorado. Hayward Howard Jr. is at Texas. And he makes them all look silly. So he's not just doing it against anybody. He's doing it against guys that potentially will be playing on Sunday. He's doing it against the best that the state has to offer. And he was younger than all of them. You want to bolster your recruiting class? You want to rebuild your receiving room? You get an Easton Royal. You do not let him leave the state. The impact that Easton Royal can have on this entire program is one that monetary value cannot equate for. You just can't account for it. You pair him with a Pop Houston, your offense is dynamic. You actually got to see that in the Under Armour All-American game this past season. They let juniors play. Pop and Easton were on the same side. And my goodness, it was electric. I watched that game thinking to myself, why would you commit so soon, son? Why did you commit to Texas so soon? You have not just a difference maker, a program impactor in your state, 1 hour away from campus, a guy who is going to drive the literal bus for the team, a guy who takes losses personally and seeks to improve every day. He came in second in track in a 100 and followed that up in the state meet by breaking a 60-year-old record. That's the type of guy you want to keep. That's the type of guy you need to have in the locker room. You want to talk about being different? Easton Royal is different. There's not a receiver that I've seen in this class that lines up and is better than Easton Royal. And you pair him with a guy like Pop, cancel Christmas. LSU about to go on a run. Pearson says, I just want to know who Texas sold them on as his quarterback, LOL, because it ain't going to be Arch. Bro, I don't know. As a matter of fact, let's try to see who that could be. Because that's an interesting take and approach for Texas, because I really don't understand why or where he committed so early without that information. Looks like Ty Knutson committed. They landed Ty Knutson. Pause. His name is Knutson. Ty Knutson. Ty Knutson ranks right now as a 3-star quarterback, 6'4", 205 pounds, out of Spring Beach, Texas. Ty Knutson. What are we doing? Knutson. Preston, thank you for being in the chat, my guy. If you get Simeon, Royal, and Hudson, you have a special class. Tossing the stud out of state like adoption, this class is up there. Honestly, Preston, this would probably be, to me, the best class you've seen at LSU in a long time. This, to me, with that lineup that you just laid out, with Simeon, Royal, Hudson, Dobson, and then you with the guys that you have in Peyton Houston, Brandon Calais, and I know I'm forgetting a couple other guys. You're looking at a recruiting class that would stack up with that Texas A&M class that went in. That was the highest rated class that ever had. Preston guy in the building. Preston absolutely knows ball. I'm gonna get Preston on the show here soon. Making that announcement right now. I'm naming it and claiming it. You got to get Easton Roy. As a matter of fact, let me pull up the On3 recruiting rankings right now, because you want to know. LSU stands as a top 10 right now with three 4-stars and 2 5-star commits. Ahmad Hudson, Jaden Bryant, Peyton Houston, Braylon Calais, and Amari Stevens. You add Easton Royal with that already, you're already in the top 3. Not to mention closing an Albert Simeon and a Joshua Dobson. Just off quality alone. Now, I don't think Lane Kiffin is going to be the type where we see him going after 25 high school recruits. I think this high school recruiting class may end up anywhere between 14 and 18 players. And then you fill out with maybe another 15 to 20 portal guys. Because the guys that you brought in last year, well, at the beginning of this year, they still have another year of eligibility, some even 2. Pearsley says, I really like Ethan Kimmy. And Preston says, obviously got to fill out the class with some 4-stars. But yeah, those far are solid. Plus, a solid 20 guys puts you in 09 territory. I don't know about 01, though. 01 is a tough class to beat. But, I mean, like, Preston, like that, in this day and age, that's hard to do. That's hard to pull in. It would be very impressive for them to for them to not just get Easton Royal, but to flip him from Texas and then add him to a class that already has Jaden Bryant, Ahmad Hudson, and potentially Joshua Dobson. You got a lot of work that you got to do. Like, it's not over. It's a challenge. It's definitely a challenge. But man, you have to finish. You cannot let this kid get out. You cannot let this kid get out. Well, Mark, my guy's back. Will Pelicans hire Rajon Rondo as new head coach over Darvin Ham? They better. Babin says pairing Royal with Hudson would be elite. If you have not seen that Under Armour All-American game with Pop Houston and Easton Royal playing together. Please go to YouTube and look it up tonight. Please. Please go do that. That was one of the best offensive performances from two players I've seen in a minute that were juniors in high school. That was ridiculous. Valid point. Preston says 01 didn't build a team, it built a blue blood. That's a valid point. But don't you feel like this 27 class can reestablish that blue blood? As a matter of fact, I heard somebody say this the other day, and I absolutely love it. We got to transition past blue bloods now. This would be building a green blood. What is a green blood? Well, in the day and age of players making NIL money, it's the teams who can pay. This recruiting class would solidify LSU as being a green blood, transitioning into the new day and age of recruiting for high school and portal players. Unc says that's a strong intro, AP, even if it came against Edna Carr. No, look, it is what it is. I'm just glad that I was there, that I was a part of that Carr team at that time, and that I was filming as much as I was filming. My iCloud data is so full of high school football tape, it's ridiculous. All I do is shoot. It's even at practices now. Like when we go team periods, I'm shooting from the end zone. So because I break down film, I love breaking it down. So, but you got in that clip, and I have other clips of Easton too, like making plays. But that clip specifically shows you his start-stop capability, his ability to read the defense right, get on the same page with his quarterback, and then to be able to adjust to a poorly thrown ball and then make something happen. And he was only a sophomore. They didn't even really know who he was and what they had in Easton at the time. We knew it. That's why I zoomed in on him. The kid is special. The kid is special. And that's what you use. You have a player like him, and this is a loaded recruiting class. This is a bumper crop of a class. It sustains. It's not going to propel, because your portal class can potentially propel you back to where you haven't been in a while, and that's playing for a national championship. This will sustain you. Lane Kiffin said it today in a quote with Wilson Alexander that him being here at LSU will not show itself truly until year 2, year 3 down the line. And I'll get into some of those quotes later on this evening, because we're going to talk about the apology that was still kind of backhanded and Ole Miss fans still got upset about. And some of the comments that were made around it. But he's right. Ole Miss doesn't have an opportunity to recruit players like this. They're leaning on Frank Wilson to pull Easton Royal to Oxford, when Frank Wilson couldn't pull him to Baton Rouge. Frank Wilson was the recruiter for New Orleans even when Brian Kelly got fired. And guess what happened? He still committed to Texas. So if Ole Miss thinks that they're going to be able to pull off a recruiting upset like none other, brother, you are kidding yourself. Like, it's cute, but the team that LSU needs to watch out for outside of Texas is Florida. John Summerall is a good recruiter. He's tenacious. He's a grinder. And he's a straight shooter. And Easton Royal loves that. Chef, my guy, thank you for being here. Chef says I'm late. It's all good, man. Better late than never. At least you're here. At least you're here. That's right. SEC 316 is in the building. Check the brand out. Ole Miss isn't like that without Lane. No, they're not. They're not. Ole Miss is not like that without Lane. Ole Miss is back to being Ole Miss. They're going to have a decent season this year. Don't get me wrong. They will. But can I share something with y'all that I realized yesterday? Ole Miss hasn't won anything since 1965. When was the Civil Rights Act signed? When was the Civil Rights Act signed? 1964, I believe. So you mean to tell me they haven't won anything since segregation got outlawed? And they want to be mad because Lane had the nerve to talk about something that was real? Like, let's be honest. Let's be honest. Unc says Unc is 15 minutes behind. That intro has Unc turned up. That's what I'm talking about, Unc. I definitely appreciate it. Unc says, Chef, check out the Easton Royal video at the beginning, filmed by AP along with the breakdown. Babin, who's rushing to hire Pete Golding if Ole Miss doesn't? Nobody. Precisely. They rushed the whole thing. Like Unc says, we got to get Easton Royal to Baton Rouge. That's the mission. Easton Royal has to be. We could lose out on Joshua Dobson. I trust Corey Raymond's evaluation. PJ Woodland was not that highly touted of a recruit, and he became your everyday starter. Look at what Corey Raymond was able to do with Mansour Delane. And I'm not saying every transfer cornerback that's going to come in here under Corey's tutelage is going to turn into a Jim Thorpe Award finalist, which he should have won, and a top 10 pick. But I promise you that they're going to be damn good. So we could lose out on Joshua Dobson. Fine. I don't care. You cannot lose out on what can potentially be the next Jamar Chase, the next Justin Jefferson, the next Malik Neighbors, the next Kayshon Boutte. You know what all those have in common? They're all from Louisiana. The next Jarvis Landry, the next Odell Beckham. You can't lose him. And it's not to say that those recruiting battles for those guys were easy either. They weren't. Jamar Chase, for all intents and purposes, was not going to LSU at first because they were trying to make him a cornerback. You have to bring Easton Royal to Baton Rouge. Beyond a shadow of a doubt. Adding him to this receiving room with the guys that could potentially return, giving him an opportunity to grow, develop, and I have no doubt that he can come in here and contribute right away. You saw what a guy like Winnie Watkins was able to do as a true freshman in Ole Miss's offense. Why can't Easton Royal do that and do more? This state grows football players like we grow sugarcane. It's ridiculous. the amount of talent that we have in this place. But you can't take for granted the elite talent. Yes, you have Brandon Calais, who's going to be a phenomenal prospect. The things that he does at Cecilia is really good. But I've watched Easton Royal with my own eyes for the last 2 years. 3 really, because he was playing as a freshman too. And that kid is ridiculous. He's been the best athlete on the field every year he's been in high school. And I'm telling you right now, he would have been featured as a number one prospect. But the offense that they run doesn't allow it. And once again, he's only caught the ball 53 times. Just 53 times. Imagine if he got 15 more touches. 53 times over the course of 11 games, only 5 catches. And I promise you, they're probably throwing him the ball like 5 or 6 times a game. That's really it. Talking about 1 to maybe 2 times a quarter. This kid is ridiculous. You got to get him. You got to get him. Chef says, I'm on it watching that clip at the beginning. He's going to do it at the end of the show. I definitely appreciate that, Chef. Unk says, for sure, Chef, good to see you. Not only does AP know football, he's a New Orleans high school football insider as his son won a state championship last year at Nakar. Isaiah says, man, I really hope we win 10 games this year. Hope. We're going to get to that schedule later on. I'm going to say that for another show. If we don't win 10 games, something went wrong. It's going to be hard. I get it. But when you break that schedule down, it is very manageable. Don't just look at the logo. Dig deeper into the teams and what they've done this offseason. Trust me, it's manageable. Babin says the amount of high school talent in this state is just unreal. Absolutely. Unk says, not only that, JR, but dudes like Lamar Brown, Richard Anderson, Ahmad Hudson, Easton Royal, Pop Houston, etc. All players who can be program changers. Exactly. Lane Kiffin, over his 6 years at Ole Miss, only signed 3 5-star players. He's done 4 months at LSU. He signed 8 if you include the portal players. Commitments from 8. He didn't sign 8 because they have some, like Jaden Bryant or Matt Hudson that haven't signed yet. But he's got commitments from 8 5-stars in 4 months. 8. That's nothing. Nothing to be a slouch about. Unk says Arch might come back next year. Piercely, it's the Manning's way unless he likes the team, likely to draft him. True, but he digs your point though. Talking about who's coming to play quarterback with Pop from earlier in the show. Unk says never heard of Spring Beach, Texas. Me either. We need to get Preston Guy on the show. Love that dude. Oh yeah. Preston, my guy Preston is one of the busiest people in the business, but I absolutely love Preston. Preston has been nothing short of a mentor for me behind the scenes. And I definitely got to give Preston all of his flowers for the support and help and the encouragement that he's given me over this short amount of time. And I am working with him to get him on the show. It's just, my guy's always busy. And he's got the babies. And a wife, so got to spend time with the family. Piercy says, you mean if Archie likes the team, likely to draft him? Absolutely. That's true. Archie has to be the one to sign off on that. And we'll see how this draft goes. Because it looks like it's going to be another New York type of situation with the way that the Jets are lining up for the 2026 season, which the schedule comes out on Thursday, y'all. And I can't wait for that. Definitely going to do a stream late Thursday night just to kind of react to the schedule and kind of be a little loose. My son's ring ceremony is Thursday night, so we're going to be getting back home kind of late, celebrating the night with him. But we'll pop the stream off probably a little late night. Put your feet up, react to some of the schedules and match up across the NFL and just be kind of free flowing. I'm not saying that. That plane hasn't flown in a long. It's more like Spirit. That's the jets that's flying Spirit, and they've been grounded permanently. So yes, Easton Royal, you got to get him home. You got to keep him there. He says he's gonna get whipped up on like his granddaddy. If he goes to the Jets, that's exactly what it's gonna look like. That's probably why they're not gonna let that happen. They're gonna make the Jets trade out of it. Um, but yes, Easton Royal is you gotta keep him. You gotta keep him here. You cannot let him go. You damn sure don't want to let him go to Texas. You don't let him go to Texas. Unk says Knutson is a 3-star who led Smithson Valley to state championship in 5A last year, which is the second highest classification beneath 6A. Congratulations for him. I know I wouldn't want to catch passes from Knutson. I'm just saying. Who wants to say pause every time you hear Knutson to Royal? Or Royal with the reception from Knutson? What? I don't like that. Don't have a ring to it. That's pauses everywhere. Pearsley wouldn't be able to make it through an entire game. Pearsley would pause spaz. He'd have to be escorted out. We'd have to get him help. He'd have to be carried out on a stretcher. Knutson to Easton. No, let's not do that. Let's not do that. Houston to Easton. Pop Houston to Royal. Easton Royal also made comments that if he were to come to LSU, Pop Houston would be his roommate because he and him already have a strong relationship. So what are you waiting on, Brody? Like, your quarterback is there. Your defensive line is already set up. They're going to be elite. You're going to have DJ Pickett back for another year. You got running backs galore coming in. Like, your parents only got to drive 45 minutes. I'm pretty sure that they'll have like a honeymoon suite or something set up for them on campus for game days. Like, what are we doing? Let's not do that. Just come to Baton Rouge, sir. That way you don't have to go play with Knutson. Like, we want you to play with Houston, not Knutson. Let's talk about though Lane Kiffin and Wilson Alexander. Lane came out today with another article. And you know what? I do have to mention this real quick. Ole Miss been catching strays all day long. How about Steve Sarkisian from off the top rope this morning? Talking about the academic prowess of Ole Miss. I want to pull this quote up so I don't misquote it because it's beautiful. It's hilarious. So Ole Miss fans got all up in arms behind the recruiting thing that Lane Kiffin laid out last night. Well, yesterday. And we got into we talked about it last night. Then this morning you wake up 12 hours ago, 8 o'clock in the morning. On three drops an article via Matt Hayes, and Steve Sarkisian has a quote. And he says at Texas, we will only take 50% of a player's academic credit hours. You may be a semester from graduating, but you're going all the way back to 50% if you play here and want a degree. But at Ole Miss, they can take you. All you have to do is take basket weaving, and you can get an Ole Miss degree. That's from the coach at Texas. Why? Now, my thing was, what made Steve Sarkisian wake up with all this Lane Kiffin stuff going on and choose violence today? Well, apparently, this article had already been in the works, but it stems back from comments Ole Miss's now head coach, who has a drinking problem, made in the recruitment of Arch. Pete Golding was the primary recruiter for Alabama for Arch Manning. And Pete Golding, in talking with Arch, said in a conference call that, hey, I love Steve Sarkisian, Arch, but he's one of my best friends. I just hope he can stay sober. Ain't that the pot calling the kettle black? Or the rice calling the ice cream white? Like, ain't that twisted? How one drunk gonna talk about another drunk? That's down bad. And look, shout out to all of these guys who battled that demon and overcame it. Like, don't throw that in somebody else's face, especially to a kid who you're trying to recruit. So I understand why Sark made the comments that he made. Uh Randy says, yes, that's what I meant. Please, you already know, bro. You already know. And Pearsley says, why are you choosing to soften the N and not the K in Nutson? Right. It could definitely be Cutson, but you want to silence the K? No. See, they get it. We locked in. We all locked in on the same page. We locked in, fellas. So no, like you don't need to do that. So I understand why Sark is taking that jab, but then you double back and Lane, here comes Lane again. Lane issues an apology. What does he say? He says, he talks about, like how he was upset. He never met, he was when it comes to the Vanity Fair article, he sat down for 4 hours, asked a lot of questions. They were asking about recruiting. So he just wanted to reveal some private conversations that parents have shared with him, which are true. Lane Kiffin was one of the main reasons why they changed the state flag in Mississippi, why they took down the Confederate flags from off of the imagery across the school. Like, Lane Kiffin don't like that. He doesn't rock with that type of stuff. He's made a comment in 2023 how the SEC and Big 12 had no black head coaches. And I want to tell you that. He came out and made those comments. But he was talking about how people were upset at him leaving Ole Miss again. And he said, call that man Cutson. I can't. I got to call his name what his name is. His name is Nutson. I'm not going to disrespect that man's family name. Nut, son. Imagine cheering your child on it. You know what? We're not going to go there. Mm-mm. 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 Can't. I would have had to change my name. I would have had to. But I mean, look, no shade or disrespect to the Nutson family. Please don't take it as something. It just makes me a little uncomfortable. That's all I'm just saying. Like, hope you go on to do great things. Just not throwing the Eastern oil. That's all I don't want you to do. So if there's one thing I don't want Nutson to do, I don't want him to throw passes to Eastern oil. Sorry, I'm not sorry. Um, Kiffin pushed back against the idea. Well, everybody said that he could have stayed at Ole Miss and they would have built trophies for him. Kiffin laid something out, and I love what he says. Wilson writes, Kiffin pushed back against the idea he would have been celebrated for the rest of his career if he stayed at Ole Miss, even though success there appeared to come with more long-term security. He got fired at USC 2 years after going 10-2 while still dealing with severe penalties. And he pointed out that James Franklin was fired at Penn State a few months after he took them to the CFP semifinals. Kiffin, and I quote, says, the narrative that you could stay here forever and be so great and build a statue, and why would you ever leave? Because it doesn't happen, Kiffin said. Even some of the greats, as you follow, even at the end, they're actually pushed out. So this is what happens. The coach leaves or gets fired 99% of the time. Every coach doesn't get to have that sanctimonious ceremonial ending like Nick Saban. That's a rarity. Even Bobby Bowden was pushed out. You think Lane is not aware of that? So if I'm running a risk where at some point I'm going to get forced out, why not just make my own way out and go where I want to be? And look, at some point Lane's going to leave LSU too. He's probably not going to retire here. We all hoping that he does, but the reality of it is just what he said. You don't win, you got to go. And the expectation for him, like Isaiah said earlier in the chat, I hope we win 10 games. No, he better win 10. We spent almost $200 million on this football program to win today. Not next year, not the year after next, to win September 5th with college game day coming to town. You better start off 1-0. Ain't no more grace periods. So if you're going to face that level of pressure, go where you want to be at. Don't just settle. And I appreciate him for that. He's taking it by the horns and saying, I'm going to make my own path. You got to respect him for it. Belaine also said, what else was it that I wanted to get to in there? The year 1, year 2, year 3. Let's see. Yeah, he says when he speaks about Ole Miss, this is kind of a longer path. Kiffin said that more highly rated high school recruits such as Brown grew up wanting to play for LSU more than for Ole Miss, proof in his mind that he made the right choice when he became the first coach to leave a team on the cusp of a college football playoff. Kiffin says, and I quote, I know that this will show for me being the right decision, Kiffin said. It may not be this year because everybody's going to want to compare the two places and everything like that, referring to LSU and Ole Miss. It'll show in year 2, year 3. It's going to show that we have the same systems. We have all this stuff, and we brought it here to LSU and combined it with the branding of LSU and the ability to sign elite high school players. That will show. It may not be next year, but this wasn't a 1-year decision. So what he's saying is that Ole Miss and LSU right now may not be on equal footing. But by next year, Ole Miss will take a step back and LSU should take a step up. And then by year 3, Ole Miss may try to keep up, but LSU will take another step up. And at some point, that gap is going to separate itself. And it's true. Look at the relative success of Ole Miss compared to LSU since Lane Kiffin has been there. His first season was 2020. LSU was above Ole Miss. And year after year, they've nipped at our heels and then found themselves a little bit more on the up. Now they've leveled off. And now we're about to remind them of exactly who they are and where they belong. So let these people at Ole Miss, let these mouth breathers talk. Let them be upset. Because the things that LSU and Lane Kiffin have said and done, just a reminder of where they are right now. Look, they even have some LSU fans that are getting worked up that Lane Kiffin is always in the news. I'm going to tell you something. Having met Lane Kiffin, as brief as it is, Lane Kiffin is the most extroverted introvert you will ever meet. He is shy. He is reserved. He gets nervous when people are around. Like, I saw it in his face just talking to him. You could hear the trembling in his voice. He doesn't like to speak publicly. You can hear it. It's not something he's comfortable with. But when he gets on social media, he's a whole different person. It almost makes you think that maybe somebody's just running his social media accounts for him. There's legitimately a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type of vibe. So I'm going to be interested in just seeing how Ole Miss fans are going to react and respond throughout the rest of the offseason. But it's already been announced that LSU versus Ole Miss, Saturday night, September 19th, will be prime time on ABC at 6:30. And there's not nothing no one can do to get me away from my television on that night. That's going to be something to watch. Now, what's going to be even more ironic, well, how will the crowd be? Because there's some troll accounts on Twitter saying how they need the racism turned up on that day. But I don't think Mississippi ever needs an invitation to turn the racism up. Not when they've had the Klan legitimately showing up to games. And what will be more intriguing about that is that those type of antics, those types of situations will only validate what Lane Kiffin said. It's a lose-lose situation. You prove him wrong, a lot of y'all don't get to act the way that you want to act. You prove him right, end up embarrassing yourself. And don't think that those comments weren't meant for a purpose. Said it before. Ole Miss is leaning on old relationships to get a foot in the recruiting in this state. What's the best way to recruit against that when you don't have the results right now? You throw shade. You throw shade. They're sowing those seeds of discontent, those seeds of doubt, reminding parents and athletes of the racial undertones that took place in Oxford. It's a recruiting ploy. Maybe not done intentionally, but it was certainly heard and received. Unc says, get a little film on the car ring ceremony if you can. AP, that's a special night. Hey, Unc, AJ is no longer at Carr. He's going to be at Kennedy. He's at Kennedy this year for his senior season. But we'll get some film because it is my son's brother. You only get to live through that once. So. Unc says Pop Houston's name alone is electric. Yeah, it's not Pop Nutson. So who wants to? Nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to do that. So I know Chef was a little bit behind, but since I still have the play loaded up, I'll cue it up one more time before we close out the show. Here it is for you guys. If y'all came late, Easton's in the slot right here. You see the gap. That's the read. Throw it hot. Stop, start, get up field, and he is off to the races. And it was a good thing he threw that ball because guess who was creeping through the line? If he didn't pull this is a tackle for loss. Richard Anderson slips the center. Richard Anderson was a junior, by the way. Slips the center, and the ball is gone. And ain't no sense in running, big fella. Look at my guy, Corey. Rest in peace, Co. Love you, man. Look, guys, that's going to be it for tonight. We are literally trying to stay on time. Started on time, 1 hour. We will be back tomorrow night. Gonna be a little late. Probably be around like 9:30. My son is playing Carr tomorrow for the spring game. Game starts for 6. Should be about an hour and a half on the field. We're gonna have a team dinner with Carr after the game. So that's gonna be fun. And then we'll get back to the school, break down, and then dismiss the team from there and then head home. So definitely keep my son in your prayers. If you are watching on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, X, wherever you are, please like the stream. Please like the stream. Please like the stream. It is free. Smash the like button. Smash the like button. Please like the stream. Cannot thank you guys enough for all the support. It's definitely been amazing. We are growing. We are shining. There's more great things to come. Trying to get to 500 subscribers before football season starts. So the content's definitely going to be contenting. And we got to get ready for another baseball weekend. LSU is taking on Florida this Thursday, I think. Thursday, Friday, Saturday at the box. And then we'll head over to Hoover starting on Tuesday. I'm gonna double check that. If Babin, if you're still in the chat, you can correct me if I'm wrong on that. Please, I definitely need to check that real quick before we go. Let's see here. Sorry for the dead air. You guys, let's see. Do. Scroll down. Let's see. Yep. Thursday, Friday, Saturday at the box. So we'll get our show in. We'll get our show in tomorrow night, and then Thursday we'll double back. Like I said, it'll be late. We'll react to this NFL schedule release and do a little bit of post game. I won't be as into the game because at the same time the game's going on, my son's ring ceremony is going to be taking place. So definitely going to miss that. So look forward to seeing all of you tomorrow night. Make sure that you're following us at AJP413 and at TNT uh at TNT pod underscore NOLA. On X, make sure you subscribe to the channel and also follow us on TikTok. Timeouts and Tangents on TikTok. The TikTok is blowing up right now. We almost have 200 followers on TikTok. So the response has been amazing over on TikTok. Thank y'all so much for the support. Definitely going to keep trying to grow. Also, all of our streams are uploaded the next day. If you missed something, go back to the YouTube and watch it. The video content is going to be great. So make sure that you don't miss out on that. If you miss something and you want to hear the audio, I have a best friend who can't catch the streams. So what does he do? Every morning at 8 a.m., he is listening to it on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify. So please make sure you're following us there as well. And please make sure to go hit up SEC 316. This hoodie is so comfortable. It's so warm. It makes me wish it was winter. Like, my house is freezing cold right now. That's why I told Alex to just send me the hoodie. Like, I'll take a hoodie because I'm gonna use it a lot. And make sure you follow my girl Alex at Tiger Talk on YouTube and on Spotify, and at Alex Girl 94 on Twitter. Let me get her Twitter correct. At Alex Girl 95. I'm sorry, at Alex Girl 95 on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. All right, let's get out of here. Babin says you're correct. I've been dealing with Yeski haters online all day. Anybody who's hating on Nate Yeski, you're stupid. Like, I'm not even about to get it. Babin, we will talk about this on a post game at some point this weekend. Let's see. Should Ole Miss and Mississippi State wear all white when they play LSU? Maybe. It's their choice. Won't bother me none. I mean, they play with Confederate flags on their helmet, so it's even worse. What are they gonna do next? Put the hood on the side of it? Who cares? I get what you're trying to get at with that question, but that kind of stuff doesn't rattle me. Thanks for joining, though. Appreciate it. Please make sure to like the video. Appreciate the support for all y'all in there. Thank y'all so much again. Been a wonderful stream. They used to, yes, the rebel flag used to be on the side of their helmet. That was a part of their school mascot. That's why they call them the Rebels, the Colonel Rebels. Yes, go look it up. It just took it off in the early 2000s. This just happened. The name of the school is Ole Miss. Yeah, I'm talking about Ole Miss, not State. I'm talking about Ole Miss, not State. State's always been all right. I don't like their colors. Oh, their colors always look dingy to me. But yes, I mean, the name of Ole Miss has racial undertones to it too. So this is what it is. It's the world that we live in. Please, Tony, my guy, if you're in the chat right now, still make sure to like the video. Definitely love all of you. Look, if you want to see the difference in the world, you got to be the difference. Be encouraging, be positive, be empathetic. Honestly, I'd probably say the dude. All things I've heard of is the dude. Joker, not the clan hood, would be diabolical on the side of a helmet. It would be like just go all the way in on it at this point. Like, why not? Like, it ain't gonna do nothing that like what how much worse can it get? How much worse can it get? But to answer your question, Tony, the dude at this point. Like, and look, I know I'm joking. I'm just saying, like, I don't think that's very disrespectful. And I'm making light of a situation that some people will probably get up in arms about, and I shouldn't make light of. But like, at some point, like, love has to win. And the lack of empathy that we have between each other, it has to stop. You are taught to hate. You're taught to hate. You're taught to embrace those types of imagery and to stand behind it. You don't just come out the womb thinking I don't like black people or I don't like white people. So I'm gonna wear these things to hide my face while I torment them because of the difference in their skin. Like football, sports in general unites us. So why are we not trying to rally around that? Yes, we may not like the teams that each other supports, but that's the fun in the game. You can't play it, so you want to cheer for your team to win it. Once the game is over with, I don't have to hate you anymore. Hell, I don't hate you while the game is going on. I don't know you to have such a strong emotion towards somebody I've never met. Just because you wear opposing colors? And to be honest with you, anybody who is racist, I don't even let you get under my skin. Like, I've been through it enough. Okay, that's your feelings. You want to hate me because you've never met me? More power to you, brother. Do your thing. Tony says, should game day be worried when they go to Oxford? No. Why? They're rich in their production company. They'll have security. Should we slow the expectations of this football team? I saw Levitt play twice versus the worst SEC defense in modern football and look like garbage. Put context around that. I also saw Levitt play against the best defense in college football, period, and he blew them out the water. Like, so yeah. He may have played bad against Mississippi State, where he only threw 87 yards, but I think that was the coaching, that was the players that he had around him, and there were a lot of adjustments that needed to be made that weren't. Sam Levitt, when the moment calls for it, is a beast. Just go watch the tape. Go watch him play against Texas Tech. The offensive line that he's going to have in front of him at LSU is going to be miles better than what he had at Arizona State. And the play caller that he has at Arizona State is not Lane Kiffin. He had Cam Scatterboo for 1 year with Jordan Tyson. That was it. And what did he do when he had them? They went to the playoff. And that was his first year starting. Like, you're answering your own question. Would you rather have Cam Scatterboo or Harlem Berry? Cam Scatterboo or Caden Durham along with Dylan Jones? He had first round picks on the O line. Okay. Have you seen Jordan Seaton? Have you seen Jordan Seaton? Have you seen Jordan Seaton? Yes. Jordan Seaton, Braylon Moore. Those guys are dudes. Dudes. And not just one Jordan Tyson. We got an army of them. You're going to have multiple wide receivers drafted from this LSU roster. Multiple. Not just first round picks, because guess what? First round picks go up in flames. Northwestern had a first round offensive lineman drafted who's struggling to find a roster. His name is Trevor Pennick. Just because you got drafted in the first round doesn't mean you're going to make it. Talent evaluators miss all the time. We don't have Scat. He carried the team. If you think Scat carried the team, where was he against Texas Tech last year? Where was he before Sam Levitt got hurt? Where was he when Jordan Tyson went down and it was just Sam Levitt and Scat? Scat's good. He's solid. But he ain't all that. Pearsley says, matter of fact, I'd wager Pat is going to hunt Dixie in his microphone inside the crowd. I think he's going to too. I think he's going to too. Seaton can't run block? Okay. Yeah, and he was hurt last year too. Cam Scatterboo was running up against the Big 12 defense too. Like, And most of the time, once again, he didn't have real blocking in front of him. He was making a lot of plays happen in the backfield. Was he not? With those same first round offensive line, you can't make that argument on one side and then not on the other. So if the offensive line was blocking for the running game, they were blocking for the passing game too, right? No. Cam Skydaboo had to break a lot of tackles in the backfield. He was getting touched after 1 or 2 yards. That's not a good offensive line. You want your offensive line to give you 3 yards of running. Running back should get 3.5 yards to touch. If you're getting touched after 2, they're failing. Because of Smart. Levitt was successful because he's talented. And if you don't believe he's talented, then that's just your belief. I'll let you have your belief. That's your opinion, my guy. I got 5 million other reasons to say that why he wasn't just average and why he was rated as the number one player in the transfer portal with 1 foot. That ain't average. There's over 2,000 players in the transfer portal. He was rated number 1. And his foot was broken. I'll give that. If you don't like Sam Levitt, cool. I got bad news for you. He's your starting quarterback. And I'm telling you right now, you haven't seen the best of Sam Levitt. Who do you think he is? Do you think if Sam Levitt was so elite, he would have transferred? Right? Like if he was this Heisman potential candidate and had the weapons around him, that he would have transferred? They didn't have it over there. He is that elite. People said the same thing about Joe Burrow and Jaden Daniels. And he wasn't good. They laughed at Jaden Daniels. 10 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. He's average. Won a Heisman. He was a backup at Ohio State. He couldn't beat out the other 2 quarterbacks. Won a Heisman. I don't care what falling out he had. I don't care. Don't care. Oh, ASU will be good or better this year? With who? With who? Tell me who. So that's what it is. You're an ASU fan. Kelly Jones will shut down LSU on one side. Really? You say Kiffin threw at him one time? Kelly Jones plays for Mississippi State. The same Mississippi State team that got blown out. Let's look at something, sir. Let's look at Trinidad Chambliss' stats since Kelly Jones is going to shut down one side. I'm glad they only have one side of a football field. Let's take a look here. My guy, Trinidad Chambliss, played in 15 games in 2025. And against Ole Miss, He had a 67% completion percentage. He averaged 10.6 yards per attempt. He finished 23 of 34 for 359 yards. 359 yards against that Mississippi State and Kelly Jones vaulted defense. 4 touchdowns and no interceptions. Kelly Jones really did his big one against Lane Kiffin. Ooh, buddy. If you think LSU wanted Zach Arnett with Lane Kiffin when we had Blake Baker in house, you are goofy. Yeah, you don't have to throw to one receiver when you have 5. Like, what are you talking about? One cornerback can't defend everybody. Look at what LSU had in Mansour Delane. Mansour Delane didn't give up a single touchdown. LSU lost 6 games. Congratulations. It takes an entire team to win. And while Kelly Jones was shutting down one side of the field, and guess what? While while Kelly Jones was shutting down one side of the field, Trinidad was tearing up the other side. So lit them up. If Mississippi State has a better quarterback. That's a big if. If Mississippi State has a competent team. If you're talking about Mississippi State, brother, they haven't been relevant since Dak Prescott was the quarterback. What are you talking about? So have fun cheering for a miserable program, whether it be State of Mississippi or State in Arizona. I'm not denying that. Kelly Jones is good. But Kiffin in the offense at LSU will be better. I just gave you the stats that Trinidad Chambliss had against Mississippi State. 23 of 34 for 67% completion. No turnovers. 359 yards. Every time he completed a pass, it was a first down. That defense was terrible. That's bad. But once again, thank you guys for being in the chat. I appreciate the engagement. So thank you. That was last year. Both teams have new coaches in play. Brother, it is Mississippi State. Ain't nobody threatening about y'all. Ain't nobody worried about no Mississippi State. Y'all want to be relevant? Oh my God. Y'all want to be relevant at Mississippi? That's so cute. Thank you, guys. Thank y'all, Jonesy and Tony. Thank y'all, man. Let me acknowledge y'all comments on the screen so everybody could see. I know you're not cheering Hottie Toddy and bucking up Mississippi State. Y'all got y'all kissing cousins in Mississippi right now. Y'all don't know what to do. Lane's really got y'all cheered, got y'all twisted. Y'all bigging up Mississippi State after Trinidad dog walked them for 4 quarters. Oh my God. What world are we living in? Once again, thank y'all for the engagement, though. Definitely appreciate it. Thank y'all for the support. Thank y'all for being here tonight. We definitely appreciate all support that y'all have been showing. Like I said, if you want to be the difference in the world, be that difference, be that change, smile at somebody, hold the door open for somebody, say good morning, say hello, say good evening. Your interaction, your positive interaction can literally save someone's life, can change someone's mind around. So please push positivity, make sure we're encouraging and being empathetic towards one another. And, we will be great. And look, to all the Ole Miss fans out there, I know, look, the last few months have been up and down. It's been a roller coaster. I'm not going to say it's been rough. Y'all got a guy in Pete Golden, right? Y'all got a guy. Y'all got Trinidad Chambliss. Y'all got Keywan Lacey. Y'all going to have a decent season. And I know that the way all this went down, it was rough. rude. It's hard. And then you see all this stuff popping off on social media. You're reminded about it every day. It's nobody wants to go through that. LSU fans have been there with Nick Saban going to Alabama. It wasn't the same way. Saban went up to the NFL and then came back to Alabama, but still hurt nonetheless. But look, I've definitely gone over my time. Thank y'all so much. Definitely appreciate it. Good night, Pierce. I appreciate you, brother, for being here. Look, y'all have a good night. Thank you to all the Ole Miss fans for jumping in the chat, even defending Mississippi State. What a funny way to end the show. Love y'all so much. We'll be back tomorrow night, 9-ish. So y'all hang out with me. Thank y'all so much. Love y'all. Y'all have a great night. Be blessed. Stay safe. Pierce, don't work too hard tonight.